Welcome back to another episode of the Black Cinema Experience
Podcast.
I'm your girl, JB.
And I'm Cameron.
And this week, we had to do none other than a Tyler Perry original, Divorce in the Black. Now, this movie is getting so much buzz on social platforms and on TV. It's like number one, and everyone's talking about it, especially our parents, right?
Exactly.
So I had to watch this movie, even though I'll say first and foremost that I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan. I do feel like the way that he writes Black characters is extremely
degrading sometimes.
Complex, but always conflicting. There's always something where they're overly good and there's some overly bad that they just have to take in life. It's just hard watching the scenarios that he sets up. And with every Tyler Perry movie, I feel like he always brings down the Black woman in some way, shape, or form. Like he's constantly focused on humbling us in films. So I'm not the hugest Tyler Perry fan, but you know, they are controversial.
Yeah.
So this week we're talking about Divorce in the Black, starring Megan Good and Corey Hardwick and
Beyonce's daddy. Oh no, stepdaddy.
Yeah. Lawson.
And
Deborah Morgan, that's the cute lady with the dimples. And Taylor Polidor, that's the best friend.
Yeah. You said Corey Hardwick?
Corey Hardwick, yeah. Oh, I said his name wrong.
It's okay. We corrected it.
Yeah. And then there's that new handsome actor, Joseph Lee Anderson, I think is
that his name?
Yeah.
I know.
So Cameron, tell me your thoughts when you first saw this movie. How did you feel afterwards?
I mean, I'm so glad you finally asked me to. I can't wait to say. Like I really didn't like this movie, and I feel like you kind of did, and I was like, wait, wait. On all the Tyler Perry movies, I feel like this one was just it was different in the sense that he tried to be like more dramatic than he usually is. I feel like he's tried that before, with, like Acrimony and like other movies like Temptation. But like I don't know, I feel like he portrayed most of his characters in like such a dark light, and but try to make them seem like they were the best person ever. Like with Megan Good, like she was the best person ever, but she kept going back to this horrible guy earlier, like you said. Like he has like these conflicts in these characters where there's like super conflicting. Yeah. And I feel like he did that the most he's ever done out of any other serious movie.
Yeah, because from the start to finish of this movie, Corey Hardwick's character remained an asshole. He never showed us a sweet moment ever. So it was obviously the most extreme, and then she's just a sweet, good girl. It's like, so you're trying to tell me that these people made it into 16 years of marriage as these two people, and nobody noticed anything. No one said, hey, your husband's kind of mean to you.
Exactly. Nobody wanted to stop it.
No one could step in. And also what makes him so special, his entire family was essentially trailer trash, and they weren't going anywhere. So what made him so special to leave where he was at to become your man if he despised you so much?
And her being such like, that far right, evangelical Christian, and like her parents being perfect. But then all of a sudden, like when it's just, they flip it on the head, because like all of a sudden the parents are like, they're so righteous, but then like one of them talking about, oh yeah, girl, we just on our period, and like and then the dad's like all like cussing and stuff and doing like all these other things that a pastor wouldn't do. I just feel like, again, contradicting.
Yeah, that's the Southern pastor though. They were trying to show you he's down with the brown. He's gonna drink a little bit. He's
saved, but he's still human. He's
saved, but he's still imperfect. Yeah, there were some moments like, he was saved, but he went and got his rifle, right? Yeah. Like he was like ready to shoot whoever mess with his kid.
Same with her. She's a good Christian girl, but then she shoots at the end, or she wants to drag him downstairs.
Yeah, it's like we're really playing with some extremes here. One of the extremes is that Corey Hardwick really could be as evil as he was, and she didn't find out until 16 years. Yeah. Or I don't even like. Why did you wait for him to? It's just so unrealistic in today's world that a woman would tolerate being beaten and tell no one. Not a friend, not a father. You're telling me that you're out there living your life in your regular day. You're in the big city, right? You're smart enough to have a good job, and you have a best friend, and you don't tell her, or you do tell her, and no one tells you to leave. So that's a whole.
And everybody's okay with this relationship, but nobody's trying to like rescue you.
Why did her best friend have a letter? Okay, a letter saying all of the things that her man has done wrong to her.
Everything.
You have a list of everything my man has done wrong to me, and you haven't already called my mama, girl? Exactly. You haven't already called my daddy and told him to come out here? You haven't already done something?
Exactly.
You're telling me you have a written down that all the times that he beat me and you ended up in the hospital. What type of best friend are you?
Exactly.
What? That's crazy.
But
like
that goes back to I say like a lot of plot holes they had in this movie. It was like just stuff. It just wasn't making sense.
Right.
And I feel like when you, my main issue with that. I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off either, but
you didn't. You're
my
good.
main issue is like in these we need people in these writing rooms that aren't making like these like these regular characters, and like I don't know. We need more artists to like really just. Tyler Perry needs to hire more artists that will really be able to like just improve his work and develop and like finish where he left off. Like,
yeah.
You know, so that they can develop these characters into something that's like believable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Because it's always so far stretched. That's the problem. Even in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, right? Like, you know, you're getting dragged out by your husband. You've been with this man for how many years and you ain't never seen him drag you out nowhere?
Or act like he's gonna do that before.
Because you're so unprepared. This man literally must have went from Prince Charming to the devil overnight because you're so unprepared. No savings account, no runaway plan. What rich woman you know that don't have some type of runaway plan if her husband is not kind?
Exactly. She didn't sign a prenup or nothing.
You signed no prenup. You saved no money. Your husband comes home one day and tells you he has a whole secret family and 2 kids or a kid or whatever, and then drags you out of the house that you've lived in with him by your feet. You had no idea. Couldn't have seen it coming. It was just out of nowhere that Charles did this to me. It's the same idea with Divorcing the Black. It's like, okay, Megan Good, your mom and dad had to at some point give Corey Hardrick and his family the stamp of approval because you married him, right? Exactly. If that didn't happen and you guys just got married and ran off to your big city, then at some point Corey was in love with you and he was a human being. There was never a moment where she tried to appeal to his better nature so she could make the abuse stop. You know, she was just really, really weak until she was really strong. There was no character development for her in that space. She could have had a conversation with him and said, hey, you know, like, let's go back to that place that we fell in love and let's do X, Y, Z. Like, let's try to rekindle this thing so you can be kind to me again. She could have been trying to save her relationship. For the moment we meet her, we're realizing she's unhappy. So why is she in it?
Exactly. And then again, and they never progress from that at all. And I feel like with these characters, Tyler Perry is actually creating like a new like archetype of a black woman, like this battered black woman that just is so good, but like just can't help all this stuff that's happening to her, and then somehow gain strength. But the way he develops that is like so like sometimes maniacal and like just
it's always an act of revenge.
And so degrading to like if you were trying to make your own archetype, which I feel like he's doing, that it like does the archetype no justice. It makes it another like negative archetype or stereotype.
Right.
So I'm just like
right. That's a really good point.
But it's like, so I really feel like with all these stories, like I really want Tyler Perry to like, again, I hate saying just get writers because like there's so much we can do if he got his ideas and put good writers behind them, and we have like actual like good media that can be like Oscar worthy and stuff like that. But like I feel like that would do so many more bounds for just black people in general, but also so that we can start building on that these positive archetypes of black people. Instead of the ones he's trying to paint.
I think that this is his goal. His goal is to create something. No, I'm serious. Because like everyone's going to see his movie because either it's so outrageously bad or so good. So it's going to create conversation. People can't help themselves with Tyler Perry. That's the thing. It's like we hate to love him, but we all love him.
Exactly. Because we talked about
outrageous.
Earlier, he's outrageous, but we love him because he does do a lot of positive stuff for black people, like building one of the biggest ever film studio in Georgia and just in America now. It's like, and then
I don't know if 50 Cent's coming. I don't know.
He's built it.
Just bought Louisiana basically.
In Shreveport, Louisiana. So I understand that, but that's inspiring because who else was doing that?
Exactly.
Tyler Perry did it first, you know.
Exactly.
He's also like a lot of these actors are saying like he's paid them the most they've ever been paid in their careers, and these are actors that have been in the game 15, 20, 30 years, you know. So it's like you can't like discredit what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that's why we love him, but it's like
he is somehow a hero. But like I feel that level of love for Tyler Perry because I do see the positive that he's doing, and these are the stories that he chooses to tell, and it is my duty as a educated watcher to critique it and to decide what's true or what's false or what's too much. And I think that part of him letting the movie advertise itself is by making something so outrageously outrageous. Everyone's watching saying no woman would ever, or no man could ever, or this could never happen. Everyone leaves all of his movies thinking that's the craziest thing ever. Remember the one with the daughter where she cheated on her husband and he slapped her? The Carmichael.
The family that prays.
The family that prays, right? And he slaps her Shania Lathan.
Yeah, over the counter.
Ooh, slaps.
I said, wait, not that.
A man slapping her over the counter. A scene so outrageous. You must get to the theaters. You must get to the theaters and watch this movie right now.
I know, but it's like, I don't know, putting that kind of like stuff out there is what we're trying to stop perpetuating. Exactly.
That is why we have problems with Tyler Perry. Mm-hmm. It's that exact reason. You're putting out these things that we do not want to be associated with, Tyler. Mm-hmm. You're making us look bad. Mm-hmm. And you're doing it in such an outrageous way that the word is spreading fast and then people are believing it. Like, we know how y'all do. No, you don't.
Exactly.
No, you don't.
You do not know.
No, you don't. That is Tyler Perry's version of the truth. Not other people's version of the truth. Now, back to Divorce in Black. Mm-hmm. Divorce in the Black. This movie is starring Megan Good. And she has a co-star, essentially. So when her husband, Corey Hardick, starts acting up, she comes home and she sees, the big Southern country cornbread-fed stallion, Joseph Anderson. He's cute, but he's like cute. Mm. Exactly. Like,
kind of like a dope.
You're hot. But you're not like
exactly all that.
Don't get carried away.
Exactly.
But this is the love interest that we have for this scene. Did you feel anything about the pairing as a couple? Like, how did you feel about that?
I feel like, again, I liked his writing because they were essentially high school. Like they felt each other in high school, but never got to complete it or really fall in love because she fell in love with the other guy. So I liked how they paired up that with each other, but I didn't like how they paired. Well, I like how the characters are paired together. I just don't like how Megan Good and this guy looked together. For me, I just feel like it was just like too much of a contrast from Corey Hardick. Maybe that's what he was going for. Like, he's completely opposite guy.
Yeah.
But it just, I feel like it didn't fit. And like I don't know, it just wasn't matching the guy he was supposed to be to her.
In that regard, what I will say is that the man that played her love interest, Joseph Anderson, he, to me, just seemed like Tyler Perry couldn't cast himself, and he found the next best available option. He was like, I can't get me, so I got to get a guy that seems like a really good guy and is like basically handsome on paper.
Who's 6'5",
right? Giant, I'll get me and I'll send him down there and see what happens. Because, but I think that he, has a bright path ahead of him, though, and I'm sure we'll see him in more things. I like seeing him.
He's one of those. He is like I feel like a Tyler Perry actor, isn't he? Or am I tripping?
No, you're.
I feel
like
right. He has those actors that he like always casting little stuff.
Yeah,
which is amazing. But
because we do like appreciate what you do for the community.
Exactly, but I'm saying like,
okay, Tyler,
he'll always pair like this really good actress, like this stunning actor, like Making Good.
Yeah,
and then you get like a regular.
And it's like, God, can these actors ever just date in their league?
No,
because, like, let's get real. He's not bagging Megan.
In real life.
Not that Megan. Like, maybe Megan Fox. Yeah. That interracial thing, it breeds a different, it changes the layers of your hotness.
Exactly.
Like, in the white community, you might be a higher number than you are in the black community.
Exactly.
And sometimes vice versa, depending on, like, how you present. So
where you fall on it. Exactly.
Anyways,
but again, it goes back to what we were saying. Like, the parents, I feel like it wasn't making sense. And then, like, I don't know, he had like these really hood, like gangster brothers, but he's like all like hood but sophisticated.
Like, and it's like how are you good but sophisticated but also evil? Like, what side are you sold out to, and what side did you sell Megan on? Because the way that he's treating you, he would have had to kidnap you to marry you.
Exactly, at this point.
And it seems like you guys had a supportive relationship at some level, like before you had issues. Everything seemed perfectly fine, I guess. I don't know. But I don't understand that balance with him. Because you can't be a perfect city boy and then also be a roughneck. Like, he's yelling in public places, acting like he has no sense. But apparently he has a job in the city and
made a lot of money at one point.
So how is that true when he acts like he has no sense? Like, is he off his meds? Is he bipolar? Should we have developed this character a little bit more?
Exactly. But I think sometimes like it's also his development of emotions. Like,
yeah,
I feel like the way he always portrays love with these characters is like, can we talk about that a little bit too? Like, how he portrays like love in such like a always like something saving one other person, but the other person's already like perfect, like this perfect kind of a religious God love that he's trying to portray or something. And then well, usually a woman has to like be healed by love from a man, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like I feel like he does it in a toxic way.
Yeah,
like this
he
guy's
always
not
makes
really
the woman settle.
Right. Yeah, because like this guy's he's not a real catch. Like sometimes they have money, sometimes they don't, but he's just a regular old farmer. She has this high profile life, and like he's the good guy because he's this regular dude that made mistakes.
Right.
And she had to be this amazing person, but she still has to learn this lesson from.
Why are you trying to humble women? It literally exactly what you said. Like he loves that story. He loves the story of the successful woman who's got it all except love. And then the man that, has everything but doesn't have much. Exactly. It's like, why do we always have to settle for that? Why are you always trying to convince us to date down?
Exactly.
Okay? You make us and then literally he always paints a picture that the man that does make what the woman makes, or if he makes more money, he is a complete dick. He's an asshole. He can never be a good person. And it's like, that's just not the truth. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of women that you're convincing to settle for the blue collar man, and that nigga treats them like shit.
Yeah, exactly. But then he learns something. Now he's treating you well.
No, I don't want to go for it. And that's what I'm TP. I'm done with your films. I'll watch the next one, and it better be controversial.
Yeah, like I feel like he does make controversial movies. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but I just feel like it's such a I guess we all know the Tyler Perry way, like you just explained. So it's just like, I don't know, like make something that's gonna really get us up there, it's really gonna put black people on the map.
But black people, we can't be satisfied. Let's be honest. He can make a slave movie, we'd be like, we're tired of seeing this shit, Tyler. He can make a hood movie, we're tired of seeing this shit, Tyler. We can see rich black people, we're tired of seeing this shit, Tyler. Think about all the things that you're seeing in TV now. We are finally getting so much representation all at the same time. And it's like the first one being represented like this. So at this point, he really can just freestyle and be like, I just want to see this, that, this. Because we already have everything now. He doesn't have to be the standard or set the bar. He doesn't have to talk about, race wars and police violence in his films if he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He could choose to only talk about the soap opera drama type of stuff, like I slept with your mother one time before I met you. That's literally his bag. It's like that's what he does. So I can't be mad at him. Like I did have the chance, and this is separate, but I did have the chance to hear Lena Waithe speak once, and someone asked her oh, when you create stuff, what are you thinking? Like, what if it doesn't do well? Whatever. And she's like, well, I create for me, so I'm having fun with it. I'm doing what I want to do. So how you perceive it is how you perceive it. It's no longer my business after it's outside of me. To me, that is what creation is about. Tyler Perry, I'm never going to agree with the shit that you make. But the fact that my mom likes to watch your stories, or she talks about it with her homegirls.
It relates to somebody. It relates to a certain different graphic, but it relates to them.
And because it's so extreme, it can relate in a lot of different, very extreme ways where you're like, ooh, I see that though. And I did see when he hit her, that made sense, or whatever, it really does help us identify that. So I'm just going to say, listen, I liked the movie for your movies. Yeah. I thought it was good, Tyler, but not great. And yeah.
So, and I agree with you as far as liking the movie for what it is, because it's you still have to support it at the end of the day because it's black.
It's very black. I love Megan Good. I'd be a fool not to support her.
Exactly, and if he's paying these actors doing these essentially doing good work, for the culture, especially black acting culture.
Yeah.
But it's you can still give us quality too.
Yeah.
At the same time,
you can uplift the standard, and we don't just need to see rich, bratty characters. We need to see characters that have family values and good hearts, and they're not out there just, I don't know, dealing with abuse. Whenever they show a full family, the mother is always some snooty woman, and the father is some mean rich man, or it's just always a weird dynamic. We're not seeing enough healthy dynamics. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Aunt Viv, the new remake. That's a pretty healthy dynamic, but there's still a little bit of shiciness, even with that show. Let me not get into it.
Exactly.
Let me not get into it. But one thing I do want to mention is the character that played Morgan Good's mom. She is so cute. Yeah. She's aging into her mother era, grandma era, so gracefully and so beautifully. I love to see her on TV.
It was so good to see that she and Megan Good got back together, because we all remember them from East Bayou. So that's such a huge kind of role for them. So them working together again, it's just seeing the culmination of black, some of our good black royal actors and actresses, get this moment again and get to be together.
You know what, Cameron? I love that, and I forgot all about that.
But I feel like he does that a lot, like with a lot of his movies, like
because he can.
And like I'm saying, and
Big Daddy, TP.
So in that sense, that's why I say that's why even though we might not be the biggest fans of these stories that he be presenting, like
I'm not a fan of the stories. I am a fan of his story.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you flipped it. Yeah. So make sure you tell us what y'all thought about this movie. We want to hear what y'all thought.
Yeah, because I mean, we could talk about the film or we could talk about the film. Exactly. Get in the comments and let us know what your thoughts are. Thanks again, guys, for watching another episode of the Black Cinema Experience podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.